I told that the other day. I said, everybody keeps playing games like this. You'll end up in a third world war, and we don't want to see that happen.
I have had a lot of strange people on my tours over the years. I do a vampire tour. There was a couple. They asked it to be a private tour. They both gave off a weird vibe. And they were asking really detailed questions about vampires and what I knew about like Saint Germain, what my thoughts were about different people who had been accused of vampirism throughout the years. Not things that normal people that are interested in vampires usually would ask. At the end of the tour, they asked me to walk them to their car.
Walk them
to their car. And I said, I'm sorry, I have another tour. They're like, okay. They got in the car and they sat there. When I left for the evening, I drove back by. The car was still sitting there. They weren't there. The next day, the car was still there. The car didn't belong to them. When I reached out to ask them if everything was okay, my emails all bounced and the phone number didn't work.
You conclude that they might have been vampires?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've encountered one. So
Things like this end up in third world.
So they were going to eat you or eat your blood. I wonder if you would turn into a vampire then. Can't believe we're talking about vampires being real. Did my lights just flick then?
Wars. And I told that the other day. I said, everybody keeps playing games like this. You'll end up in a third world war, and we don't want to see that happen.
Pretty intense developing news coming out in the last 24 hours. As take a look at the latest headlines with me. NATO urges prepare for war like our grandparents saw in a chilling World War III warning. Here's another one. World War III fears as NATO boss declares the time for action is now. You can see this in the last 24 hours over Russia's plans in Europe. World War III fears as NATO wants to prepare for war like our grandparents saw. NATO chief Putin is in the empire building business yet again. And this comes as I shared with you that information that had come out just in the past couple of days, everything we know about Russia's target list, as all 23 towns and cities in the UK are revealed amid World War III fears. We saw that list come out of all the different cities in the UK that Russia is planning to hit if World War III breaks out. And we actually saw this for the United States as well. Chilling list of US cities most likely to be hit first in World War III if it begins, including unlikely Midwest hotspots as well. And a lot of this ramping up because we've seen, you can see here in about the past week or so, the US threatened to withdraw from NATO if Europe doesn't take defense lead by 2027. And they're saying this is emboldening Russia. Now, I'm also going to be sharing with you a warning that has come out in the last 24 hours from Donald Trump as well. As he sounds the alarm, you can see the subtitle here from Business, Fox Business. Trump says Ukraine war sounding like a third world war. You can see it came out yesterday, Thursday, from the White House, warnings from NATO and warnings for Trump on World War III.
What the fuck?
Here's the thing, though. Like, I don't think anybody knows who's on whose side. If there was a World War III, I don't know who's on whose side. And I don't know if the people in the countries would even be on the side of their country. And I don't know about the NATO. Like, it's all very messy. Very, very messy indeed. Why? This is why, because it's all the secret symbolism of what everything seems to really represent. It's not about countries at all. It's about a very select few who seem to want to be taking control.
When they saw that I saw a lick, I go for it. When they saw that I saw a lick, I go for it. We some alien.
I haven't shared this yet.
What was that? That was very fast. That looks very, very fast indeed. That reminds me of an experience that I had actually. At night, when I used to live in like a flat, this was years ago. At night time, when I come outside, I'd go downstairs and come outside. Outside every night for a few nights, I was obsessed with this bird that was really fast, and I'm sure it used to do the same thing, but I'm sure it was zipping in and out of portals. Like I'm almost certain, but because it was so quick, I couldn't quite work it out. It used to just fly and then disappear, and then it'd fly back and disappear, fly back and disappear. And a few years later, it followed me to another house, and I saw it outside the bedroom window. I don't know if it was the same bird, but it was the same sort of thing. It'd fly really fast, disappear, fly really fast, disappear. I forgot about that. That was crazy stuff, actually. Crazy, crazy. It might have been just so fast that I lost sight of it, but I was trying to video it and all sorts. Don't know what I did with the video.
In the UK, I've booked a one-way ticket to Cyprus and I leave tomorrow. Over the past few months, I've sold everything I own and left my house at 57 years of age. Not because I was reckless, I just felt like I didn't fit in the UK anymore and I need space to grow. The last 2 weeks have been a real transition. I've been moving from place to place, sitting in uncertainty and letting the old life fully just drop away. I felt so stuck that I had to do something drastic. And living in the UK is something drastic. It was exhausting me being that stuck. This journey hasn't been neat or comfortable at all, but it's starting to feel aligned now. I don't have everything figured out, but staying stuck wasn't an option for me. So tomorrow, I'll take the next step. I'm laughing. I think I'm mad. Do you know what? I'm so excited. I'm a little bit nervous at the same time, but this is phase 2 and I'm doing it. Tomorrow, I'm out of the UK, gone. I know, right?
It's funny because it's a record number of people are leaving the UK because of the situation we're in. And it's everybody. Like I think everybody's just fed up of the shizzle show that we live in. And it's not just the UK. It's funny because I saw another TikTok the other day of an American that come to the UK but it's like everybody's just fed up of where they are. So everybody's just seems to be moving to a different country to see if they can find a slice of an easier life where it ain't so negative. But I think it's just, I don't know, it's just the world that we live in as well. But yeah, I'm not fond of the UK. I'm not going to lie. I mean, for one, I love the sun, and we got very little sun in the UK, and then they started to cover it up. That was the last straw for me. That's my biggest concern with the UK, regarding of everything else that they're going on about. Like, I couldn't care less, but the sunshine is my thing. I need to be in the sun, and that's my big pet hate about the UK.
Neath the rocks, I buried my spaceship, waiting the time when man might be free. He's talking about he buried it underneath the Sphinx. Over the spaceship, erected a marker in the form of a lion, yet like unto a man. That's the great Sphinx. Beneath the image rests yet my spaceship, forth to be brought when need shall arise. In other words, when there's a need for this ship, it's there to be brought forth. It's there to be used and taken from underneath the Sphinx. UFOs and the Emerald Tablets. You see, the great Sphinx, mainstream, it keeps trying to tell people that it used to be a lion's head on it. It never had a lion's head on it. It never, ever, ever had a lion's head on it. The Sphinx's head originally was the head of Thoth the Atlantean.
I feel like planet Earth is just a resort for 500 rich people.
That there was an artificial film on the turkey leg, similar to plastic. This is not cheap meat. This is a well-known meat brand. Some people online even suspect it might be 3D printed meat, and the site is giving American consumers chills. This turkey leg was produced by a major mainstream manufacturer, the kind you can find on any grocery store shelf. When she opened the package, she thought the outer layer was normal turkey skin, but as she began cleaning it, she realized the entire drumstick was wrapped in a thick, smooth, rubber-like membrane. She tried pushing her finger through it. It wouldn't break. She tried pulling it off. It wouldn't budge. She finally had to cut it open with a knife and peel the entire sheet off like industrial plastic wrap. And the most unsettling part, the sound, texture, and elasticity of that layer were almost identical to plastic. Some people say it's a processing film. Some say it's a moisture retention coating. But many others have a far more alarming suspicion. Is this a new form of 3D printed meat quietly being tested on the public? Who is altering our food? And why aren't we being told? What do you think about this?
Thank you for the time.
I think we live in a shizzle show. That's what I think.
For breaking the truth that Reform is now the largest membership political party in the United Kingdom, the fastest growing in the whole of the European time zone. Massive thank you to everybody who put their heads up, given us their 25 quid, helped us on our way. But please, more of you, join us, support us, help us, spread the message. The old two parties are decaying and dying. We are the future, but we need your support and help. I tell you what, for us, it's a good day.
The UK does need reforming, right? I just hope that they, they don't. They're not only going to end up in their back pockets as well.
City, and you know what I'll never forgive New York City for? We just completely brushed past the fact that there were literally Jewish people, right? With the yarmulkes and all that shit, and fucking long twisty hair and all that, and the nice washing sets, living underground, like in the fucking sewers. And it was all over the news. Motherfuckers caught them fucking looking through the little shit like Pennywise. Caught them coming outside, going inside. Like, there's video footage. This is news. Like, this really happened. And we just brushed past it like nothing happened.
I've been going out of body for...
What? Why is Jews living under... I thought it was lizards that lived underground. Or the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. I didn't realise there's Jewish people. Is this true?
4 years now. And here are 4 beings that I've come across, real extraterrestrials I've come across while going out of body off of Earth. I know many people won't believe me until after disclosure, but let's get into it. I actually think we should talk about the most popular ones that people usually talk about, which is the tall whites. If y'all watch me, you know I've come across these beings for years now in the...
Right, tall whites, I'm watching you because I reckon you're blocking our sun. You don't look like you like the sun. You look very pasty and pale. So I've got a feeling it might be you lot that are blocking our sun.
Physical and in the non-physical. Very pale white skin and very white hair. Sometimes even their eyes are white or very bright blue. They usually talk to me about Earth relations or human relations, and their ships that I've been in are very white. The ones I've been in look just like this. And the ship is conscious too. So it's like you could hear this humming in the background and this like liveliness that's sewn in the walls and in the floor. Very focused, driven, and knowledgeable people. This one's not very common, but we have to talk about it. Number 2 is elves. People will consider them humans, but they're not really because they have a different genome and their genes are very tied with magic or metaphysics. So they have this tie.
They got some different ears as well.
Magic or metaphysics that goes beyond what most species have. Now, the worlds I've been to look just like this. This picture and the one at the bottom, they love magic. And they're cool storytellers as well. They got stories from across the universe. They have stories that go beyond space, time, densities, and dimensions. And it's like they're the magic keepers of the universe. They even have locations on Earth that look similar to this. But that is for them to disclose themselves to the masses. Number 3 is Silanthians and Hydra beings. Very dark skin to the point where sometimes their skin looks black. They actually hold the DNA of all humans in the galaxy going into the universe too. So you could consider them like the original blueprint of human in which all other humans come from. They have an amazing balance of technology and consciousness. Some people know them for their nano and neurotechnology. They're really good with that. Their DNA keeps the history of everything, and their minds and their culture loves to keep the history of everything, going way back to the beginning of galactic history. Some people call them Wakandans because some of them look just like that. This one, I'm curious if you guys have ever run into them in the astral, but it's rat/mouse people. I've noticed these beings have been located on Mars before, on Earth as well, and many vast areas of Orion and Antares. I mean, they're good at multiple different things, and I've seen them in multiple different professions. Some recent ones were teaching me about minerals and the in-depth understanding of how to use minerals and what...
I'm not gonna lie, I prefer the little people from eating mushrooms on yesterday's video over all of these. So is this on DMT or is this just astral projection? You see mouse people.
They are. I can't wait to see them on Earth looking just like this. But I've seen many star seeds in which are these beings incarnated, which is pretty cool too.
Whoa.
serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that he's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that. Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
I don't know if anyone else is saying this, but that is giving this. Erica Kirk on her press tour right now is giving the same energy as Kenneth Copeland. I don't know if this is just what happens when you combine like mass amounts of money with religious beliefs that are like hollow or what, but this is the exact same energy right now. And it's interesting because, mind you, Christians preach about like the love in their heart and having the love of Jesus. And you look at Erica Kirk and you're like, I don't think that exists anywhere near you right now. My name is Mercedes Chandler. The power of Christ compels you. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yes, he's worked it out. He don't need to be a slave in this system. He's just standing.
Europe's not preparing for war. It's preparing for collapse. Let's be honest. And let's stop pretending this is about defending democracy, because it's not. France, Germany, the UK, these elites aren't gearing up for war with Russia because they care about freedom. They're doing it because their grip on power is slipping and fast. Their economies are breaking. The middle class is crushed. People can't afford rent, food, or heating. Yet instead of helping, they're dumping billions into weapons. And now they're panicking. They sanctioned Hungary, a full EU member, because Orban refused to send more money to Ukraine, a country that isn't even in the EU. Let that sink in for a second. They punished a sovereign member state for not funding a foreign war. That's how desperate they are to keep this agenda alive. Meanwhile, Slovakia is breaking rank, Poland's pushing back, the AfD is rising in Germany, and France are doing everything to stop Marine Le Pen because the people support them and the elites can't stand it. So what do? They call them extremists. They smear them. They arrest them. They try to erase them from history. Why? Because these are the voices of the people, and that terrifies the establishment. So they fall back on the oldest trick in the book, crank up the fear, blame Russia, push for war to cover for their own failures. But the threat isn't coming from Moscow, my friends. It's coming from within, from the millions of people across Europe and the US who are done being lied to, used, and ignored. And yeah, it's happening in America too. The media repeats the same script every day, and Trump, he's the one punching holes straight through it. So what do? Well, we don't scream, we don't riot, we speak the truth. We ask the right questions, and we stop playing along. Because when enough of us refuse to lie, the machine breaks. And you know what? They know it.
Is that true or what? I very good, very good. Very good, sir. I do truly believe it. And also, it's very interesting how everybody is starting to realize all this and how that aligns with like the Great Awakening. I really do find that fascinating because a lot of people are starting to see this all show as an absolute, like, it's just taking the shizzle. You know what I mean? Like, exactly, like it's happening in America, it's happening in Europe, like all these countries, it's the UK. Like all of these countries are all starting to realize individually in their countries, even though they're trying to cover all this up, like it's not happening, it's not on the news. We all know it is. And we're all fed up. And we're not all going out to try and fight. We're just, well, I'm just not getting involved, but trying to, help spread the good word.
Whoever created us is a sick fuck. To create us and watch us suffer every single day, that's not a good being or creator or whoever made us. It's fucked up.
The demiurge, as the Gnosticisms would.
Wait a minute. So ain't nobody gonna tell me about this dragon that's supposed to be this massive dragon that's supposed to be in the waters of the Venezuela waters? Was nobody gonna tell me this? That it's an underworld in Venezuela that the U.S. is really out there? Was nobody gonna tell me this? Yeah, man, listen, I just found out it's an underworld in Venezuela that the U.S. is out there. And it's a massive dragon that's thawing out that they trying to stop. They say the veil getting thin. What, nobody gonna tell me this, though? I'm sitting up here thinking the whole time, I'm thinking it's about the oil, but it's really an underworld over there in Venezuela that they trying to prevent. What's up? What's to it? What's going on? Cause hey, listen, this the first time I done heard about it today, man. Like, somebody, man, they been inboxing me telling me about it, man. Y'all, hey, what y'all, man, what y'all think?
Well, I have no idea. First I've heard as well. Anybody know about a dragon in Venezuela?
Looking good, is it? Why do I just know where we're heading to? The World Health Organization have just issued an urgent warning as cases of the new superflu spread across the globe. They have warned that the virus has, quote, pandemic potential. Now, it's already been reported this week that the UK is being swept with superflu cases, with warnings that this is only going to get worse. UK hospitalizations due to flu have reportedly doubled in the last week, with several hospitals already struggling and declaring major incidents. They even went as far as saying that the peak is nowhere in sight. And this comes off the back of the announcement of more school closures yesterday and today. Now, if they're claiming that it is this bad already, and we are 2 weeks away from Christmas, where people are only going to be mixing more and more, why do I just get the feeling that by January, the government are going to put some restrictions in place? Well, there are restrictions in place already. I mean, schools are already shut. I don't know about you, but the last thing I want to be dealing with is this shit once again. Has anyone actually experienced this superflu, or is it just more fear-mongering from the media and the government? Let me know what you think of this in the comments.
Oh, I think everybody's ill because they keep spraying shizzle all in the skies, and all that shizzle is coming down, and it's making everybody ill.
Et là, c'est pas que ça biche, là. Là, ça surbiche, là. Seigneur, guette la beauté du travail, quand même.
Wow.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
How banks made 12 billion in profit last year from overdraft fees. That's profit that they literally made from people having no money.
Wow.
Hey, Rabbi, what is the status of Jesus in the Jewish religion?
In traditional Judaism, Jesus is seen as a Jewish figure of the Second Temple era, but is not recognized as the Messiah or the Son of God. Instead, Jewish teachings await a future Messiah. So Jesus doesn't hold a divine or central place in Jewish theology.
Hey, Rabbi, why do you lie so much? You know, it's no wonder 1 John 2:22 says, who is a liar, but he that denied that Jesus is the Christ? He is Antichrist that denied the Father and the Son. When this rabbi is asked about what he believes about Jesus, instead of being honest with his audience, he skirts around the issue and tells us things that we already know, that they don't believe he's the Son of God. They don't believe he's the Messiah. But I'm going to tell you what he really believes, but refuses to say. Shabbat 104b implies that Jesus Christ is the bastard child of his earthly mother, Mary, who, according to them, committed adultery with a Roman soldier by the name of Pantera. Sanhedrin 107b14 states that Jesus Christ was a sorcerer who learned sorcery in Alexandria and caused the Jews to commit idolatry. You have Sota 47:13 that states that Jesus Christ lusted after an innkeeper's wife and was rebuked by a rabbi for doing so. But probably one of the most blasphemous teachings in Judaism is the belief that Jesus Christ is currently in hell, burning in his own excrement. Yes, you heard right. Gittim 46-47 in the Talmud states that a man by the name of Onkelos, who wanted to convert to Judaism, invokes three evil spirits, one of which is Jesus. He asked Jesus, what happens to the man who opposes the Jews? You know, the way Jesus did. To which Jesus replies that he goes to hell to burn in his own excrement for all of eternity. It's no wonder Jesus said, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan.
Britain just told the US to basically...
Wow. I mean, if that doesn't like make your brain with religion, I don't know what would, because it don't all make sense to me. Christians follow the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is the same book as the Jews, yet they don't agree on Jesus, which is the New Testament. So how can you follow the same book but come up with a different answer, Messiah? I've always said like the Old Testament don't make sense to me at all, and that kind of makes more sense to me. But if I was a Christian that followed the Old Testament and the New Testament and believed it all, then that would confuse me. No?
And the US said, quote, "We are extremely disappointed by this decision the UK has made, and you need to know what this is about." Well, today, the UK government just signed a multi-billion-dollar deal to buy new nuclear reactors, but you need to know who they're buying them from. The problem is, rather than buying them from an American company and giving the US the money, the UK has decided to work with a British company, Rolls-Royce. Now, for the UK, this makes sense. They're investing in their own economy, but you need to know what the US had to say about this. The US said, quote, "There are cheaper, faster, and already approved options from American companies, and we are extremely disappointed." But there is a reason the US said this, and you need to know the actual reason. But so this makes sense. Last month, the US government signed a nearly $80 billion deal with a small American nuclear reactor company, and a small part of that deal says that the US government will get part ownership over that small American nuclear reactor company. So when you actually spend hours digging into these things and reading through the deals, like I do, you can see that the US government actually just wants the UK's money. This has nothing to do with working together and becoming stronger allies. This is just the US wanting to get rich. It took a lot of digging for this one, but it's really quite interesting. So you can leave me a follow for some more global news like this.
I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but I genuinely think that Charlie Kirk is still alive. And I want you to watch this next video. Just my opinion, but what do you think as well?
No death certificate. There's no burial site or grave. There was no official autopsy or ballistics report. There's not a single eyewitness that's on the record. He has an alleged grieving widow that's taking over the show. They tore down a literal crime scene, erasing any potential evidence the very next day. There was no life-saving measures being taken on the scene. There was no paramedics, no ambulances. There was zero blood on his perfectly white shoes. The stadium for his funeral was booked 4 months ahead of time before his death. Why is Erica Kirk acting so suspicious all the time, and why are none of the big voices even talking about it? Do you know what Charlie and Erica's kids' names are? No, you don't, because nobody does and no one's ever seen them. And apparently they don't have birth certificates. Why did Kash Patel say, "I'll see you in Valhalla"? Why did the number 33 appear so often around the scene? Why did it take 33 hours to find the alleged suspect? Why is there a man on record saying that he prayed for 33 hours? How is there zero videos or pictures showing Charlie with his kids out in public? The fan base that he had, it's not possible for him to go out in public with his kids and there not be at least one photo of them. Why is it that everything that happened also happened in a movie called Snake Eyes from 1998? Why did Charlie sell his house 8 months prior to this happening? Why was Erica Kirk smiling and laughing on different podcasts pretty much a week later after her husband was just publicly executed? Were their kids just at home with a babysitter after the most tragic event in their life just happened? Why are gun experts saying that that type of gun would have taken his whole head off, but for some reason it just left a little pinhole in Charlie? This is just a few of the million more things that are not right about this entire situation.
Chinese parents in Yang have discovered
Yeah, something don't feel right with all.
why their 3-year-old daughter does not look like them. As you can see, she is blonde and has blue eyes and does not appear like those in China normally. She was born in 2022, and her parents began to think that the hospital had changed their daughter. They began to perform DNA tests, which confirmed that she is indeed their biological daughter. So they started looking into their family's genetic history. They did not know anyone with these characteristics among their ancestors. It turned out that they discovered that their daughter's paternal great-grandfather was Russian. His great-grandfather married a woman in China, and that is where their daughter's genes come from. They also said that the genes inherited from their great-grandfather that affect these features are apparently inactive in males, since all previous births in their family were male, and no one showed this trait. But somehow the genetic traits had remained hidden for generations until the daughter of this Chinese couple.
Here?
Ja, se så rart.
Put your finger, mister. And you, madam, put your finger. No problem. Both of you.
Okay.
under the column, so you can feel the pressure. It's going up and down.
Yes, I can feel it.
That's anti-seismic, anti-earthquake, madam. Look top. You see top?
Yes.
Follow the moves. Can you see it?
Yes.
That's designed for alarm system, my friend, from Roman time. From a long time, they have music stone on top of the columns.
Yes.
So the earthquakes, column move, music stone make sound. Sound, it means be careful. Danger is happening in this place. Professors that study it, they say never fall down. Anti-seismic, anti-earthquake, moving from 3,000 years ago until today. The old alarm system, music stone, is here.
Vet du hva, det var en annen teknologi før. Den var så mye smartere før. Og oss tror at vi har beveget oss så langt fram i teknologi. Nei, det har vi ikke. Sorry, jeg må bare gå bak og bare fortelle. Åh, stilig.
There's a place in America where gravity bends, people shrink, and water flows.
Whoa, so that had it was earthquake proof, and it would also make music if there was some vibrations coming from underneath, I suppose. So if it's made music, you would know to stay away. That's crazy. I never knew that.
It was uphill. But the weirdest part is the man who discovered what's really happening there burned all of his research saying that the world wasn't ready. This area is known as the Oregon Vortex and is one of the strangest physical anomalies in the United States. Just outside Gold Hill, Oregon, there's a wooded area known as the Vortex, and the second you step into it, something feels off. Visitors report a heavy pressure in the air, sudden dizziness, compasses refusing to point north, brooms standing upright on their own, balls and bottles rolling uphill, and people growing and shrinking, depending on where they stand. And the strangest part is that these effects don't just happen inside the tilted building, but they happen outside on open ground, with no tricks, walls, and no forced perspective. Even animals avoid the place. Horseback riders say their horses stop dead on the boundary line and refuse to take another step. The Oregon Vortex was first studied by a British mining engineer named John Lister. He was a geologist and a mathematician who worked in the area in the early 1900s. And while surveying the land, Lister noticed something strange. His compass drifted, metal tools acted weird, and the ground seemed to pull differently depending on where he stood. And that started a decades-long obsession. From the 1910s through the 1920s, Lister conducted experiments deep in the woods, trying to map what he believed was a spherical field of force. He wasn't a paranormal conspiracy theorist, and he wasn't a showman. He was a scientist. And he believed something was happening in Oregon that broke the known laws of physics. According to handwritten notes and witness accounts, Lister concluded that the vortex wasn't an illusion, but an actual distortion in either gravity, magnetism, or space itself. He claimed that gravity was stronger in some directions, but weaker in others, and vertical force lines tilted inside the vortex. He also said that light bent in subtle ways, distorting perception, and the anomaly extended underground, possibly hundreds of feet deep. Another note was that animals reacted to something that humans couldn't sense. He even told coworkers he believed the vortex was a natural space-time distortion, decades before modern physics ever considered that idea. And then he did something unthinkable. Near the end of his life, after collecting decades of data, Lister gathered almost all of his notebooks, measurements, and diagrams, and burned them. According to the caretakers of the property and people who knew him, his final words about the vortex were chilling. Lister said, "The world isn't ready for this. They would misuse it." And when he died, only scraps of his work survived. A few diagrams, a few sketches, and a place that behaves in a way that no one has fully explained. Skeptics say that it's all just optical illusions, a tilted building and bent trees confusing your brain. But if that's true, then why do the effects work on open ground? Why do compasses drift and animals refuse to enter? Why do people feel pressure, dizziness, and weight changes? Even today, surveyors and physicists visit the Oregon Vortex and leave with more questions than answers. Some believe it's a magnetic anomaly. Some believe it's a geological hotspot. And others think it's a part of a network of energy nodes, the same type of place linked to Sedona, Skinwalker Ranch, and the Bridgewater Triangle. So what exactly did John Lister discover in the Oregon Vortex? A glitch in gravity, a magnetic distortion, or a natural warp in space-time? Maybe it was something even stranger, something that he thought humanity wasn't ready to understand.
Today, I want to show you what typical weekday morning looks.
You wouldn't want to go in there drunk, would you?
for people in China. I usually get up at 8:50, then spend about 10 minutes getting ready before heading out. I take a motorbike taxi to work every day, and this is my regular driver. This is literally the fastest way to get around in Shenzhen for short distances. If I take regular taxi, it takes around 30 minutes to my office, but motorbike only takes about 15. But I have to say motorbike taxi in China are not legal at all. These drivers don't have business license and it can be a bit dangerous. Our bike doesn't even have a license plate and neither of us is wearing a helmet. Over there you can see the traffic plates. They are checking for violation, but they won't bother coming over to us because the moment they walk this way, the rider will just take off. In Shenzhen, officers aren't allowed to chasing speeding e-bikes because it's too dangerous and can easily cause accident. 9:15, I have arrived at the company I work for. The first thing I do is clock in on my phone. Once I check in, my work hours start counting, and then I can take my time to eat breakfast. This is Starbucks in China. I'm used to placing orders on my phone. When it's ready, I got a notification. I need to send today's fare to my motorbike driver on WeChat. It's actually more expensive than regular taxi. After breakfast, I'm heading back to my desk. The company I work for has flexible working hours. I can arrive anytime between 8 and 10 a.m. As long as I finish my 8 hours, I'm free to go. 8 a.m. is way too early for me. Coming at 10 means getting off way too late, so I go for the middle ground. Elevators in Shenzhen are a bit different. I choose my floor on my phone, scan it on panel, and the panel assigns me an elevator. Let me know in the comments what else you guys want to see.
Y'all, what are the
That's interesting. Life in China, 8 hours a day. You can turn up when you want. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? I wonder what the wages are like.
odds that Jim Morrison's wife wrote stories about the Crusaders? And not just that. Her story is about how they were saved by interdimensional beings who were non-human intelligence. During the Middle Ages. So she writes this whole story about these knights who were caught up in a storm in the ocean and they were facing terrible odds because they had kind of surrounded, you have France on one side, England on the other. They're trying to make it to Scotland. And then they get swept up into another dimension where they meet other beings that explain that there are many dimensions, there are many worlds, there are many different types of beings. And Jim Morrison's wife wrote this. Jim Morrison, who passed in Paris, France. And her story is about a French knight who went to Scotland to get away from the same people who took out the Cathars. They even mention the Cathars. She mentions the Cathars. Y'all, what are the odds? Something's going on. That's why I say, keep your head on a swivel. Love y'all.
Yep, I'm lost. I don't even know who Jim Morrison is. Anybody? And the Cathars, not sure. I think I know what the Crusaders is, but not really. I need to do some educating. I need to educate myself, don't I? Someone help me in the comments if anyone knows.
Might just be cooked on this one. I don't know, but it ain't looking good if you ask me. If you didn't catch it, the Humanoid Robot Summit happened a few days ago, and what they said there was it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when the robots are going to take over the workforce. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, but this is already happening all over the place. I mean, it's kind of hard to compete when at this summit they're releasing a 6-arm robot that's guaranteed to put out 30% more work than any human factory worker out there. But the job thing isn't what this video is about. There's something far more.
How can we compete with someone who's got 6 arms? You got no chance of that.
Unsettling, if you ask me. Like the robot with its own skeleton system and artificial muscles that mimic human beings.
Protoclone, and it's equal parts fascinating and downright bizarre. Why? Because Protoclone moves like us thanks to 1,000 artificial muscles powered by cutting-edge myofiber technology.
And if you're wondering what's the point of mimicking human muscles and tendons, having the ability to lift 4,000 times their own body weight is definitely one of them. Now, we've all seen these robots improve on their movements over the past couple of years, but this year, it's gotten to a whole new level. Now, with these robots being able to move more fluidly and the artificial intelligence being able to learn, now they're teaching them things like martial arts. That model is from earlier this year. The one they just released video of is called the T-800, and it's built for realistic hand-to-hand combat. And in a recent video, this robot is seen kicking the CEO of the company that built it to the ground.
Chinese robotics company has released footage of its robot kicking their CEO to the ground. Employees were seen holding their breath while the boss was beaten up. The CEO claiming the kick was too brutal. The company says this.
I want you to keep that video in mind and pair it up with this next one from a company called UB Tech. Still not intimidating? Well, let's add some of these on top of that.
Totally awesome or totally frightened? Look at this. China's military has released this video of a four-legged robot marching through a field with an automatic rifle mounted on its back.
Are we cooked? Let me know what you guys think. Stay safe.
Don't worry. Be happy. La 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 la. Don't worry. Be happy. La 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 la. Just bits. Not war.
Holy shit.
Oh, this is
No, they
crazy.
don't want to be as bright.
Should I zoom in?
Oh, turn your phone horizontal.
This is what I've seen.
Here we go.
He turns it upside down, but just turn your
Do I
head
get that way we're in? Yep.
to the side and
That's
see what you
we're
see. It comes zipping past.
It's all in that one little light.
It's in that one little light. I'm telling you, Lila, that's a fucking spaceship in that cloud.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Come in.
Not a spaceship.
They're fucking darting all over the sky, Lila. That's gotta be. We don't have any planes that move that fast.
There.
What the fuck?
Boom. You see,
Lila.
I've seen that.
It's probably somebody messing with.
No, you and I have seen this how many nights now? Look, look, look,
This is
look,
the
look, look,
third.
look, 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 look.
I saw it. This is the second night.
No.
Yeah.
It was like a week and a half. It was like a week and a half.
I know, but this is the second night we've seen them. We saw them a little while ago, but this is.
And this is a typical response of me. That kid is me. Like, this is what I'm like. And then the typical response of, I think it's his sister maybe or cousin, something. And it's just so like, oh yeah, just can't like process it. Don't get it. This is exactly what the real world is. We're seeing it right now. It's like the people that see it and they respond to it. And then you have someone else who's just like, oh no, I don't. Yeah, it's just like, but no, look. It was like, it looks like shadows, like something else is happening above the firmament going on. And you're seeing a shadow of it going past. And it's super fast. Super fast. I don't know
And
if
it's in that white spot.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Oh,
look.
yeah.
Why would they just be camping in that one spot for like a
Why
week
would humans be doing it?
to mess with tweakers like
No. Oh my God, Lila, no.
It's shadows. Interdimensional
They're not as
shadows.
bad anymore now
Like
that you're recording the camera shot.
3D or 4D.
You know, if you're standing on the ground over there in them trees and you try to hit the sky, at some point the trees get in the way of the beam. How is he able to hit the sky all the way over here if he's standing over in them trees? He's not that tall. He would not be able to. Makes sense? Some shit gets in the way because where the short trees are this tall, I can only go so far in the sky before the tree blocks my view. How is this motherfucker making it motherfucking 6 miles in the sky? Lila. This shit's really happening.
Maybe it's Santa.
Oh my God, you see what that one came from all the fucking way over there.
Maybe it's Santa.
No. I'm gonna hit this big white spot, see what's happening in the big white one.
It's all in the little one.
I first noticed it in the big
Yeah,
one.
but they come from the big one and go to the little one. They're like,
Yeah, mothership, small ship. Telling you.
now they're gone. Now that you're trying to record.
Nope. It's not folding away, can you see?
Yeah, I see it. They're still there, just not as much. It's freaking ghost of Christmas.
As that white color fades away, they fade away. You notice that? The white color's not as white anymore, it's going dark. And they're going dark.
I still see both.
Yeah. Look, see, when those beams hit, Lila, they are up. The beams start from in the cloud.
Maybe it's somebody in space.
Tell me I'm wrong. When it actually looks like headlights, you can see they're completely horizontal.